You know, a lot of people ask me, what can you do with your life? First of all, it's a very big question. There's a lot we humans were born able to do. You know, Neil Armstrong, he walked on the moon. Pretty sure it wasn't Lance Armstrong. That guy had well, didn't have testicles, for the most part. Things like like Einstein. He's one of the biggest geniuses of the world. Yet he didn't go through high school. He didn't pass it. A lot of people, their genius is detected in several different ways, or not really detected for the most part. But everyone is smart in their own way. Like Einstein once said, if you take someone, if not everyone's smart in their own way, but of course, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it's going to live its whole life thinking it's stupid. Besides that fact, fish are pretty stupid. Well, some of them are. I mean, goldfish have a memory span of about 3 seconds. That's probably why it doesn't try to kill itself. I mean, imagine living in a little glass tube for most of your life. How would a fish kill itself anyways? Oxygen? Swim up? I mean, how would a fish kill itself? Swallow all the pebbles? Maybe that's what happens. Maybe some goldfish are born with more memory, and in thus turn, they just that looks delicious. Maybe I can kill myself with it and just swallow some. You know? I don't know. It's a clever question. I think. I mean, why not? But regardless of the fact, human potential. That was kind of a big tangent. I do that sometimes, but human potential. I mean, you can take some of the greatest people on the planet, or people who have lived on the planet. I mean, whether it was genius or smarts or just talent all around. Beethoven was deaf, and he conducted symphonies that people just over. I mean, just classical music. I played violin for 6 years, and honestly, I don't give a living hoot about it. But I mean, a lot of people, they appreciate it. It's kind of an art form. It is an art form. It's the classical form of music. I mean, you build up such a big study of it, and that is the result is just this big. I don't know. Regardless of the fact, though, music is another thing. But human potential. I mean, we were born unlike any other animal in the planet. I mean, for that most part. I mean, I don't really care for much creationism. I'm not an atheist or anything like that. I just don't care for religion for the most part. But compare ourselves to every other being on the planet, and we are the most able. I mean, that's why we are not top of the food chain, but we are the growing, the most adaptive race there is. I mean, even though we're not the smartest, I think dolphins are smarter than us. And I mean, I don't jump to a fire hose. I'm not that fucking retarded, so I like to see how they combat that. What else is there? I mean, shit, we're humans, There's a lot we were built with. I mean, our asses, the ability just to walk upright. I mean, the closest thing I think I've ever seen is a lemur. It was pretty cool. I was watching Life of Pi, Um, but yeah, a lot of animals aren't born with the ability to stand upright, and that's our actual physiology. But our power as humans is our brains. I mean, you look at the past, you look at everything in the past. You have the artists of the Renaissance era, and so on and so forth. I mean, from cave drawings to Cubism, and so on and so forth. These artists they expanded. It was just a big thing on such a small scale. Well, such a small thing on such a big scale. And I'm probably gonna put that backwards now. Art is something insane. I mean, no one really knows where it comes from. Humans. I mean, but I mean, art is existed before humans. Art is something that even our bodies are. Even something Earth is. Art is just capturing what is already there or creating something new to be there. Whether it's the metaphysical sense or metaphorical sense or whatever sense you wish to choose, art is Earth, right? We humans, we're one of the few actual races that can actually use it. We're one of the few people who actually go out and we will draw something. I mean, I've never really seen a monkey try to draw. I mean, that'd probably be pretty awesome. I want to go buy a monkey and a whole shitload of markers now. But I mean, besides that fact, though, I mean, what else is there? No other animals has ever been able to take what we have and use it as effectively of us. I mean, of course, there are a lot of also cool things, but a lot of different animals have their body to give to them. I mean, you take the chameleon. It's a great idea. It'll And like sure, like a lot of that actually is actually controlled by your brain, but their body is just built to actually do that. Um, like the mimic octopus, exactly the same. They can mimic other animals, make themselves look like something else, and that is their brain. But it's also because their body was able to do that. When it comes to the human body, though, our body was born to be upright and born to help us think. Look at creation. I mean, from living in caves to living in pyramids to the entire burial rituals and beliefs and customs and all these things. Like we went from living in caves, living in skyscrapers and apartments. From pooping out in the woods and using a leaf to wipe yourself to like perfect irrigation. I mean, like even like babies don't even do what we used to do billions of years ago. It's kind of insane. And for all the people who think that the Earth is really 2014 years old, read a book. Um, Besides that fact, though, I mean, like the Earth is crazy. Humans are crazy. I mean, like for a race, I mean, even when compared to fantasy races, we're pretty cool. 'Cause, I mean, most fantasy races have like a big conflict. I mean, like the Kryptonians, they're dead. I mean, they're done. Gone for. That Superman guy, whatever. As for other people, shut up. As for other people, I mean, look who the Sands, dead. Even our own races have kind of gone extinct. I mean, I've never heard of a Macedonian person these days, or like a Greek. What are the Greeks? That's a bad idea. Bad example. Greek. Yeah. Anyway. But I mean, look at the past. Look at who we are. Look at what we've done. We've done so much with our lives, so much with what we were given. Our ancestors before us have done so much while they did so little. And it's because as humans, we're able to pass on a lot more than other animals are. Because even when you have memories, human teachings are still here to this day. Otherwise, we would have never advanced. We never would have. I wouldn't be talking to this damn camera right now. I probably wouldn't be speaking English. Just talk to people with my chest and clicking fingers or something. Just something strange like that. It really is the accident of life. I mean, like you look at it, we were all born with insane potential. It's really crazy. Collaboration has always been one of the greatest things humans ever done, and that's exactly why we've lived for so long. I mean, even though you talk to people when it feels like this is a dog eat dog world or man eat man world. I mean, like people don't care at the same time they do. Like if people didn't care about each other, we wouldn't exist because we would have perished a long time ago. It's like that saying: people who don't change, a man who doesn't change is destined to perish. Because our adaptability gives us our life. Our adaptability gives us our kids' lives. It grants us new things every day. I mean, like there's no other race on this planet that's adaptable like that. I mean, unless you talk about like some sort of starfish or something that I've never heard of before. But I mean, how many starfish talk? I'm just saying that they're not that advanced. I mean, like, well, I mean, not even necessarily talk. I mean, communication between starfish. I've never seen starfish like talk to each other. I've never heard it. And either that makes me super ignorant or I'm super right. I mean, like, just look at it. I mean, even with what biologically we were given, the reason why we are ahead as animals or mammals, whatever you want to call us, is because we've collaborated in the past and because our potential is so insane. I mean, like, sure, think about this. Our ancestors, if you do believe in the evolution thing, Cro-Magnons or Neanderthals, they used to live to be about 40 years old, average, the average male who was strong, they had thicker bones than us, and they couldn't walk upright. Their skeletal systems were very different, and their skulls were very different, more base-shaped, not as much varieties nowadays. And, like, you think of us now, and, like, you have people who live to be 120. I mean, there's ridiculous. Almost 3 times as much. And of course, it took so many years, so many centuries to actually get that much. And think about what else advances we've had. I mean, like from the discovery of fire, to the discovery of plasma, to the Earth being round, the ground, like everything like that. Everything is ridiculous, And that's one thing I really think when this was insane. Humans just have this whole about us. We're a candle in the darkness. And we're constantly exploring. We really are. I mean, in every direction too, whether it be the right direction or not. I mean, like we know more about space than we do about our own ocean. I mean, like that's damn true. I mean, like I'm gonna think about it. hundred, well, millions of years ago. I mean, like, if you go back to the fire people, like they saw things in the sky. And what did they think? I don't think they really knew what the sky was. Nobody knew what the sky was, but whatever it was in the sky was insane. No one knew what air was. And nowadays, we can break air down into particles. We can break the sky down into particles. We can break everything down into what we know it as, what we've observed, what we've been able to sense. Where did it come from? Well, it came from collaboration. It came from learning. It came from teaching. And that's one thing about humans. Is like, even if you sit there in your math class and you're never gonna help us. Yeah, well, maybe one day you're gonna have a kid who like doesn't know shit, has like the easiest homework you've ever seen. You'd be like, oh, just fucking carry the one over here, man. You're done. And that kid's like, oh shit, you're so smart. And suddenly you're like a genius. I mean, like, kids will think you're a genius regardless because they're your damn kids. But I mean, like, if you're actually a genius, that makes things a lot better for when they get older and start to disrespect you. I mean, like, I don't get along with my mom. Yeah, I do. No, anyway, it's just always take in consideration that we were born with different things. Um, what's great about us humans, as I said, is our brains, our minds, our collaborative ability. We also have more of an ability to feel than other animals. I mean, like, if look at the '60s and the '70s and the '80s and the '90s and now. I mean, like, this the jump of music in the past 100 years. Has it's evolved so much, and it shows exactly how our feelings and how our perspectives and minds have evolved. And even if you look back at like old literature, I mean, you look at the Decamerons. I don't know if you guys ever read that. It's about the bubonic plague and a family living with it. But it's something that's like old. The language has evolved, the people, the ideals have evolved. Back in the day, you used to sell your sister so you could pay for some rice, and she'd go marry some guy and live in his house and make him sandwiches forever. It's like nowadays, it's like, well, that's totally illegal and down and gone, bah, you know. And that's one thing that is like, it's good that world's evolving so much, like that. You hear about corrupt people all these days, all this times, like all this corruption in the governments and all this stuff, communism and capitalism and so on and so forth. All these big words that I don't want to talk about because I barely understand them sometimes. But like in an intellectual way, we are going to survive any corruption that comes our way. We're going to survive pretty much anything because that's who we are. Of course, unless the nuke blows up the planet, or if they keep predicting an apocalypse that might actually happen, I don't care. If we die, we're dead. What am I going to do? Oh, we're not going to die, and then it's over. It's just, we are in this world. We are in this world now. Take that into good consideration. You were here for a reason. You were born for a reason, and be glad you weren't. Be glad you're able to work with what you have. Be grateful. Because like there's plenty of people every day who aren't born. Think about it. Think how many people you'd know if everyone was born. That's really a weird question. Like, hey, what if you were born? And who's gonna answer you? No one. Bam. There's the big question right there. What if you were never born? What would everything happen? It's like the butterfly effect. That idea that if you would ever go back in time and change one thing, like if you stepped on a butterfly, or you caught a butterfly, well, maybe that butterfly's wing got damaged, and like whenever that butterfly's wing got damaged, it tore in half, so it had to flap its other wing a lot, and that caused air particles to hit each other and start a tornado over in the Gulf Pacific. It became a hurricane and destroyed half of New Swagla. Yes. And it's just the idea that it's a ripple effect. A butterfly can turn just the smallest things into a damn hurricane. Take that into consideration. You are a human. You were born with something to do, and if you don't know what that is, you'll find it. Your life is everything to you. That's quite literally why they call it life. And as miserable as it gets, life. Everyone's in life. I read something today about some band, some cool band. I forget, Edgar Allan Poets, I think they're called. I don't know. I read a quote by them, and it said something like, "We are all playing the same game. We're just on different levels. We each face our own hell, but we're fighting different devils." I think that's what they said, and I really like that pose because like, in the end, whether you're born, like down, like in you're poor and you're sick and you're hungry, that's very it's something that's very difficult to live with. Just growing out of that. Really taking care of yourself becomes so difficult, and that's something that humans like. That's one thing that's cold about us. Is like it's hard to take care of someone else when you can't take care of yourself, especially when you weren't given the chance. Just think about this. Like you are born to be something great. It's not good to it's not worth it to sit on the street corner, I mean, like, even if it's right now, I mean, like, everyone has to bear with their times, their hard times, because that's how it is, Even the rich people who, they were culture since birth, I mean, even if their struggles aren't monetary, they still have struggles. I mean, like, I can't let pink or red. What's wrong with this color? I need a new one. Of course, it's bitchy as hell, and some people can't choose between pink or red. Some people are colorblind, they don't know what each color is. But, like, everyone has an internal, external struggle, and sometimes it's both. The whole point is that each struggle will make us stronger. Each struggle will make us greater. And throughout that, we are going to evolve again. I mean, like, I don't even know where technology is going to go in the future. I'm not that smart. I'm not that evolved. I'm just that guy who talks to cameras. I mean, hi, I'm Zavi, by the way. Zavi Cam, I guess. I don't know what to call this show. What should I call this show? I don't know. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to name this show. Besides that, it's just the good things of life, The difference is, I'm kind of just talking in general. I mean, the waffle makers and the Grand Theft Auto 5s and the plasma screen TVs, the Xboxes, PC Master Race, I mean, whatever. But anyway, taking the life that you have, what you have now, and taking the life that you can only hope things get better. Of course, life is a lot darker than what we've always seen. Like even when you think you've lost everything, you have not lost everything, because you still have your life. As much as it feels worthless sometimes, it is the greatest thing you have, because it's the one thing you do have. The one thing you can always count on is having your life. And that's the end of the episode. Yeah. Until next time, this is that